Hey guys, here we are for round 2. Looks like we are going to be on the play, and this hand looks just fine. But let's take a look and see what our opponent is playing. So it could be red-green aggro, could be Naya. Have a look. So it looks like it is red-green. So we should be expecting like Bonfire of the Damned. Okay. So if we are able to pick up our Trinket Mage, we definitely want to be searching for the Graph Digger's Cage to shut down Strangleroot Geist, and also Green Sun Zenith, and Pod if he's running it as well. So here we're just going to go ahead and drop down Mortar Pod, get the jump on him, and bash in. But being able to delay the turn 3 Mash of the Hunt, or I'm sorry, the turn 3 Hunt Master of the Fells, definitely going to be to our advantage. And then hopefully he doesn't have Strangleroot Geist for next turn, so we'll see. But the nice thing that I like about our deck is it's actually very well positioned against some of the other decks that are coming out there. Red-green aggro has been a big deck recently, and it has a lot of one-drops that are very vulnerable to Mortar Pod. Also, now that Zombie Pod has become a deck, the Graph Digger's Cage Game 1 tutor target just becomes so much more valuable, and the ability to pull it out on a whim really kind of gives this deck a lot of strength, I think. So at this point, we just want to go ahead and drop down Silverblade, start bashing in. We could drop Blade Splicer here as well, but I think we just want to go ahead with Silverblade here. If he had like one Llanowar Elves instead of 2, we might have thought of potentially just trying to kill it, but at this point he's going to have the Hunt Master next turn anyways. So there's Hunt Master, or Thrun, I guess. Thrun is honestly fine. If we trade Champion for Thrun, I'm totally fine with that. So I think here we just go ahead and drop down Blade Splicer and then bash in. I think we're fine trading Silverblade Paladin for Thrun at this point. Like, we lose the double strike, but not having this roadblock in the way is going to be definitely a good thing for us. I think we're just happy to bash in. And most likely he might even trade Thrun for a Champion anyways. So he probably makes the trade here for Silverblade, but I think that's fine. So I guess he does not have the Hunt Master. which we are very, very happy to see. the longer we can keep our Silverblade Paladin around, the better. We can still, we could potentially just Mortar Pot it to protect it from Huntmaster, but now we just get to drop Hero, Soul Bond Hero, and continue to bash in. So if he doesn't have an answer for Hero, he's in a very rough spot. He's probably trying to set up like a bonfire at this point. But, I mean, unless he has the Miracle, Hero puts us right back in the driver's seat. So now he's really hoping to Miracle Bonfire at this point. It's pretty much one of his only outs. Yeah, and that's it. Alright, so going into game 2, definitely bringing in Purge, O-Ring. Let's see, what else? Cage for sure. Gutshot, we might want to bring in Gutshot here just because it's pretty good against, he has a lot of, I think it runs like 4 Llanowar Elves and 4 Birds, so a lot of early game. What does not work here? We really want to cut the Gathers. While they help champion, they're actually pretty weak just because of the bonfire. Let's see, what else do we want to cut? He's red-green, so he'll be more kind of, he'll have more removal for our artifacts. I think we can probably shave 2 of the collars here. We want to make sure that we're probably not going to be going combo heavy against him. And I think then at this point we do want to bring in at least one of the Gutshots. I'm not sure if we want to have a 2-2 split on the swords. He's probably running like Wolfer, Silverheart, so we want to be able to punch through. And I think that we're probably bringing in Sword of War and Peace, or Feast and Famine here. Swords are definitely going to be very powerful against him, especially getting through like Strangleroot Geist. I think we shave a War and Peace, bring in a Gutshot. I still kind of like having the 2 collar because it allows us to kind of go for that angle if we need to, but we're not heavily committed to it. And I think between the 4 Mortar Pods plus Gutshot, we should have enough answers for his early game. Well, I mean, it could be worth bringing in another Gutshot here is to make sure that we kill that first elf, because I mean he's going to have basically 4 birds plus 4 elves, and then it does also help if we have like a Mortar Pod in play. We can get the Huntmaster. Yeah, I think we're actually just going to shave down to the Singleton collar and run it like this. Okay, so definitely mulligan down to 6, and 6 is fine. So on the draw here, I'm hoping to pick up a 2-drop, maybe a Paladin, and we can start picking up our Cage for the lockdown. Okay, so there's the turn 1 bird. So hopefully we... Okay, there's Pillar Flame, I guess. There's the Gutshot, which we're definitely looking for. Very happy I brought in the second gut shot. So now we make sure to take out his turn 3 Huntmaster. Kind of slow the game down a little bit. Now we can pick up the cage and be ready for the Strangleroot Geist shenanigans. And then we can potentially pick up the second cage if he has the removal for it. The nice thing about the double cage is it does, he's not able to Ancient Grudge twice against it. So we're probably going to be walking into a turn 4 Huntmaster, so we'll have the Purge with Mortar Pod back up, but we're probably just going to be dropping Grafdigger's Cage next turn, just to make sure that we stop any kind of pod shenanigans. And then if he doesn't go Huntmaster, then we can just go ahead and drop our second Trinket Mage and start bashing in. Okay. So now since we have 3 mages here, we might as well go ahead and pick up the collar. Then we just got to be careful to drop Cage first, so in case he has the Ancient Grudge, he can't 2-for-1 us on the collar. Assuming we drop down double cage, which we'll want to do first before we drop the collar. Bonfire for 2 is fine. Nice thing about Trinket Mage is you just get a lot of value out of it, so just need a little bit of mana here, and then we're in pretty good shape. So at this point he's got to have like Wolf or Silverheart, I would assume. He could just be holding, I guess, a couple, maybe like another Bonfire or like a Pillar. Okay, so there's the Grafdigger's Cage. We're happy to see that for Geist. So he gets us for 3, we can drop to 13. And hopefully we can start picking up some land here. So here we just want to drop all 3 of the 1-drops here. We're kind of really clogged on cards in our hand. It's important to drop the Grafdigger's Cage or a double copy of it so that he can't just Ancient Grudge and 2-for-1 us. you know, we could also just go ahead and go like Grafdigger's Cage into Mortar Pod here, which I think is fine. So we kind of save ourselves a little bit of damage, but at the same time, he can blow us out then at that point with Ancient Grudge. So I'm not really sure what I want to do, actually. I mean, because if we draw Paladin, well... The thing is, if we don't kill his guy with Mortar Pod, then he can still trample over, you know, for an extra 3, get us to 10. And then if we don't block, if we just attack in, like, we're taking quite a bit of damage there. We have to trade Trinket Mage. I think we're potentially low enough on life where actually I think it's worth getting 2 for 1 here. Since we have so many cards in our hand we're trying to get out. Like, even if he goes Ancient Grudge from Cage into Mortar Pod, you know, we can then just drop another Cage and still have a lot of action. So I think, considering what life we're at, I think it's actually better to just kill the Strike Root guys now. I don't think he has any kind of pump spells. So I think we're actually fine just waiting till his turn and just whiffing. I mean, well, I suppose he can just Ancient Grudge in response. We actually want this thing dead right now. Okay. So now, we can go ahead and just drop Sword and start grabbing our life back. But I think because we have a little bit of a lull here, what I'd rather do is drop down a second Cage, suit up the Trinket Mage with the Mortar Pod, and then next turn either drop like Sword or Hero potentially. Just because if he does draw into the Ancient Grudge, he's gonna wreck us quite a bit more. Then again, if he doesn't have the Ancient Grudge, like, Sword connects for quite a bit next turn. But if we draw the land next turn anyways, we're probably just equipping Hero, or probably just dropping Hero. So I think I'm actually fine. Well, we still have so much action here, it's probably just worth just dropping Sword. Even if he gets Sword and Cage, you know, he's still, you know, not really playing cards. You know, we're still dropping creatures and heroes and whatnot. So then next turn I think we just go ahead and Cage into Equip, you know, so we're open for 1 turn essentially, but if he doesn't have a creature here, he's in a pretty rough spot. Alright. Play the Cage first, just in case he has the Grudge, just to force him to use it. I think that's worth it over the extra 1 point of life that we would have gained, so I think this is fine. Guess he's just no idea what he's holding at this point. Probably just land flooded. Alright, so we're very happy to see Hero. Guess we just bash in, see what he does. I guess that's it. So we just Mortar Pod for the win at this point. and that's the match. So yeah, definitely like the ability to really kind of shut down all the graveyard recursion and pot if we saw it. So I think we have a pretty good matchup against Naya. Bonfire is still ridiculous, so you just try to play against it as best we can, play around it. We will see you for the third round.